Hi everyone. So this video we're going to be looking at hip openers. I feel like we all need from time to time a good hip opener. It's where we hold quite a lot of stress. We can hold quite a lot of emotional stress in our hips as well. And we're all probably during this time as well spending quite a lot of extra time sat down, so our hips are constantly probably in this like flexion position, so it'd be nice to just open them out and give ourselves a bit of a release. So let's start in child's pose. So come and make yourself comfortable on your mats. Okay, so just take the knees hip width or maybe just slightly wider. Just sit your hips back and just take a moment to just have a little wriggle around in the hips. Just see how they're feeling. And you can either keep your forehead on the floor or onto your hands. Okay, so just stay in that position, keeping the eyes closed. So don't think too much about forcing anything. Don't force the hips down towards the heels because that's where you think they should be. Just self-accept where your hips are naturally falling to. And just focus on taking some deep breaths in and out through the nose. And as you breathe out through the nose, just try and send that breath out towards your hips. That's where we want to release. Always using that part of the body as our point of focus today. Okay, so just spend a few moments just doing that and just imagining that breath out, softening your hips. Okay, we're going to stay in child's pose, but just take a twist. So bring your right arm through, bring the shoulder down towards the floor. Rest your head down onto the mat as well. If you need to let the hips rise slightly, you can. You might need to readjust the knees. And just be kind. Soften where you can. And don't force yourself into an uncomfortable place. Let's try and treat today as just self-accepting where the body is. And then from there, just gently lift up, bring the other arm through, and just soften that shoulder down as well. You just take one more breath, and then from there, just bring your arms forwards. We're going to find all fours. So just transfer the weight to the hands and knees, and just start to now flow through up and downward facing cat. So just breathe in to open the chest, and then exhale to round through the spine. So just take your time, just moving through these two poses. Just finding some movement in the back. Just connecting to your breathing. And just see maybe if you can get that movement to just slow down a little bit more. Okay, and then from there, I want you to just bring the hips back, tuck the toes under, because then what we're going to do is bring one foot forward and find our first lunge. So you want to take the foot out nice and wide to begin with, release the back foot, soften those hips down, and then this knee, you can have a little play around with where you want it to be. Okay, so we're going to just take a moment to just remove through those hips. We've done this before, where we just want to try and massage the hips gently. You might want to come down onto your forearms if you have the space to, otherwise you can stay up onto the hands. You may even want to use a block or something. So I might use a block because I don't come down onto my elbows that easily, especially first going in, so it's quite nice to just use something that's for a bit of extra height. Okay, and you might want to take the knee out, maybe roll onto the outside of that foot. Just take your time moving through this and use that out breath to just let the hips go. It's a lot easier said than done, I know, but try and let the hips just become a little bit heavier towards the floor. And take your time. Try not to think about anything else, just think about this constant release through the pelvis area. You'll notice if you actually soften through your hips, it can really help soften the rest of the body as well. You can hold so much tension in this part. So just send every out breath to that area. Okay, now you're going to stay in your lunge. What I'd like you to do, keeping the foot wide, we're now going to soften the hips down, but you're going to lean into that other hip. Okay, so depending on which leg you have in front, you're going to lean the hip away so you can turn your chest towards the leg. And if you can, reach this arm back. Okay, you're going to roll onto this outside of this foot, the knee comes out and you reach back behind. So you're going to feel a bit of pressure come down into the other arm. Okay, if that's uncomfortable, just stay in a twist here, supporting your hand onto the leg instead. Okay, and then bring yourself back, send this leg behind. You might just want to swing it up in the air a few times. Just let that hip move around. And then let's find all of that on the other side. So just bring the other leg forward. And then take your time easing into this hip. Okay, go over the options for you. You should feel a bit of a difference already maybe. This side might feel a bit tighter, or maybe it does feel better and easier to move than the other side. The longer you stay there, you'll feel that warmth build up. I can still feel the other hip actually, how warm it got just from holding for that amount of time. Okay, just have a little play around with where that knee is. Try and just take it out and in. And then if you want to, you can find that twist and reach the arm back. And you can see how this hip then drops down that little bit further towards the floor. As I reach back, I feel that twist in my torso, feel the chest open. And then just release by bringing the hands back. Send that leg back behind. Just gently sit back to child's pose. And then you're going to come forward and take cobra. So you can either take the legs out a little bit wider here, or you can come onto the forearms. Okay, so you can either come midway, or you can keep the arms extended, just open through the front of your hips. Okay, but If the back bend feels too much or too deep, just come down onto those forearms. Take the feet out as wide as your mats. And just push through those forearms or the hands to keep the shoulders back. Okay, and then from here, let's set up now for swan. So I want you to just push into the hands, lift yourself up, come into swan either from dog or you can just crouch back, bring one leg through, okay? So swan pose, we know we can do this with the legs bent, or if you're extending the leg behind, imagine someone is pulling the ankle away, so the hips come further down towards the floor, and then roll the hips onto that heel. And this front leg, obviously we're keeping the knee bent. The foot, it's up to you. You can tuck it right in if you want, or if you want to, you can bring it further away. This will probably give you more of an intense stretch. So just gauge it and actually flex this foot. I want you to flex the foot so that it protects the knee. Because sometimes if we point that foot, we can start to roll into that knee in a few funny ways, which we don't really want. So just flex it, roll onto the heel, and then come on down to the forearms. Okay, again, you can use a block if you want to, even to rest your head on, or you might want to fully extend those arms away, okay? And you can roll side to side if that feels good. You might just want to stay in that position and just focus on breath. So remember, use that out breath, send it to the hips and release where you can. Okay, just take a few more moments here. Try and just relax down a little bit further. See if that leg can slide further away so the hips can come further down. And then from there, gently walk your hands in. We're going to stay there with the legs, keeping the hips down. Just lift the chest, push the hands into the floor, and just feel that back bend. If that's too much, just bring the hands a bit further in front. Okay, and then from there we're going to change sides. So just take your time to come out however you like. You might want to take three-legged down dog from there, just open through the hip. Okay, and then just find the other side. So bring the leg through, slide the leg back behind, try and get those hips as low as you can. And just take a bit of movement there. And again, just soften into this side. See how it feels. Remember, we want to always, I've spoken in the past about sort of finding that tension and then just pushing into it a little bit. So if you want, you can do this now, okay, but you may not want to. If it feels uncomfortable, don't push into it. Just find the more comfortable place to stay in and then just sustain the stretch, okay? So this is why I always suggest just moving around a little bit, because it can take a bit of time to find which bit feels nicer. And then just try and stay in that point, because the longer you stay there, there might be then more space to move into gradually. Okay. Okay, just see if those hips can come down a bit more, or if you're quite happy just staying where you are. There's no pressure. Just relax as much as you can into it. If you're pushing too far, rein back slightly. Maybe just move a little bit more. You might want to bring the hips a bit further forward again. So just be patient, stay, keep the hips where they are, and then just gradually walk those hands in. Just press them down, lift the chest up, keeping the hips grounded. Okay, and then from there, just do what you need to do to release again. Okay. So it might be nice to just circle the hip, circle the knees, do what you need to do there. Woo. And then from here, let's take frog. Okay, so I don't do frog pose that often. Not the nicest. I never get the nicest reactions from frog pose when I do this in classes. So we are going to have the knees out super wide. So I want you to just make sure that the knees are comfortable. So if you're not on carpet and you're on quite hard floor, you might just want to pad the knees with something. You can use cushions or blanket or something. You're going to take the legs out as wide as you can. I'm trying to think of the best angle to show you this from. I think it's probably the side. So you want your feet flexed, turned out, toes away. So you're going to take your knees out. I'll show you from a bit of an angle there. Sorry, it's very sunny in and out today, so it's changing the light a little bit on the video there. So just bring the weight onto the forearms. God, that's gone very dark. Okay. There we go. All right. So keep those knees out super wide. That's better. All right, your ankles should be in line with your knees, okay? Elbows are down to support you. So if you look from the side, ankles in line with the knees, take the knees out as wide as you can, and all you need to do really is let gravity just do the work. So try and relax the hips as much as you can, okay? You're going to feel this on the inner thighs. Also, another point to make is when you're in this position, try not to arch through the lower back. Try to actually keep the abdominals engaged slightly. If you keep that back straight and then relax the hips and the glutes. Okay, so just stay in that position and breathe. Okay, the hips and the glutes are naturally probably going to want to tense here. Try your best to let that tension go. Long, steady, controlled breaths in and out as you hold. Okay. And if you want to, every now and again, you can start to move those hips forward and back. Okay, see how it feels. So forward is probably going to give you a bit of a release. If you push back past those knees, it's going to feel more intense. Okay, so you can just gently shift the weight forward and back. A bit like we do in swan or any other poses when we move to massage through it, you can do that here. Okay, gradually, obviously in time, if you feel there's a bit more space, see if those knees will go out a bit wider. A few more breaths. Be patient. Try and keep your body there. And then when you're ready to come out, tuck the toes in, push through the hands to lift, and then just let the knees come in. Woo-hoo. Do what you need to do. Okay, so I quite like to just take my knees side to side, turning the chest and shoulders. Okay, all right. Okay, and then from here we're going to come onto our back and just let those knees come in towards the chest. So just give them a hug. You might want to just let the knees just come away and towards the body a few times. So just keep hold of the knees, just let them come in and out gently, just releasing that lower back. Okay, and then staying on your back, take lying butterfly pose. So you're going to bring the soles of the feet together and just let the knees naturally fall out to the side. Your arms are by your side, shoulders are rolled down the back so your chest can open. Now, if you want to make this more comfortable, you can put something underneath the knees when you're lying down, because I want you to hold in this position just for a bit of time. So I could use pillows, cushions, something underneath to just support where the knees are. And then that way you're not putting too much pressure into your hips, okay? So you can see here, I'm just using even that block there just to elevate the knee so that I'm not putting too much strain here. If you want to, you can just leave it and you can add that little bit of extra pressure in the hips. So wherever you are, just relax, breathe, just in and out through the nose. Keeping the eyes closed. Just have this feeling of just opening through the front of the body. A bit of imagery that I sometimes like to use is just a flower and all the petals, you know, when the petals of the flowers sort of blossom out, that feeling in the body. So imagine everything just opening up and then just releasing. Just imagine your body parts, so like your knees and your arms, the petals unfolding. Relaxing all the muscles through the face. Just take a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, just extend the legs away. If you want to take a stretch, you can. And then just let yourself move however you need to before then coming back to seated. Okay, and then just take one last breath. Just keep your hands to tap to your forehead, lips, heart, and namaste. Cool. So thank you. Hope you enjoyed that. It's a nice little one, really. It's not too long. Really easy to fit into your day. You could pop that one in maybe in the evening before bed. Quite a nice chill out one, really. So yeah, I suggest doing that later on in the day or something to just calm down. Just level out too. Yeah. So yeah. Any questions about any of the poses, let me know. But I know a lot of you will have done those poses before. It's just a nice little order. We haven't done frog often, so if you have any questions on frog, let me know. Yeah, and I'll speak to you soon. nice and chilled. Enjoy. Bye.